At the start of my mock expansion draft video, I mentioned how it was basically pointless to do a mock draft due to the rules and the agreements that weren't yet public. Hell, I broke the rules in that video because I didn't learn that they needed to draft 20 under contract players until the day of the actual expansion draft. And with this video, dissecting and analyzing, it's nearly pointless due to the amount of moves that we're going to see. The team that's currently listed on a site like Cap Friendly won't be recognizable potentially by tomorrow, let alone by the draft, and definitely by the end of the weekend. The roster freeze is going to end, and the fun will only continue from there. All that said, let's talk about what happened during the NHL Awards, the players that were selected, the deals that were made, starting off with the Anaheim Ducks. Now, as we knew, there was a deal in place to avoid Vegas taking Sami Vatanen or Josh Manson. They claimed Clayton Stoner and his abysmal contract. As a reward for that, they get Shea Theodore. One hell of a reward, but you have to wonder, why wouldn't you just take Vatanen or Manson? I like Theodore, but I'd much rather have either of the other two. Is it a favor to the GM? What's the deal here? I don't know. We'll see what comes out of this, but for that first pick with Clayton Stoner, that is an awful contract, so I'm not quite sure if I agree with that. From the Arizona Coyotes, we see Teemu Pulkkinen go to Vegas, not all that surprising. Colin Miller is selected from the Bruins, unfortunately. Will the Bruins be fine without him? We'll see, but it would have been nice to keep him. I've mentioned this numerous times. I still had hope that there would have been a deal in place to see them claim somebody else. As a reward, you trade Ryan Spooner to Vegas, but obviously that didn't happen. Fingers crossed, Chiller doesn't get flipped to Toronto, as rumored. That would suck. William Carrier was selected by the Vegas Golden Knights from the Buffalo Sabres. They also picked up a 6th-round pick, basically for not taking Linus Ullmark. Derek Engelland was selected from Calgary in a move I don't think anybody saw coming. And to be honest, on Twitter when the news broke, I mentioned that Vegas GM George McPhee will either go down as one of the best GMs of all time or one of the worst, if not the worst, after this draft, which could still hold true. To me, there's no defending this selection. Shinkaruk, Emile Poirier, even Michael Stone. Nope, you take Derek Engelland because he played in Vegas once and apparently lives there, I guess. Again, this seems like another move where you're just doing the other GM a favor and taking this terrible contract off his hands when there were much better options on the table. Maybe there's a future deal coming down the road involving other players. Time will tell. From Carolina, Connor Brickley. Interesting. They also received a 5th rounder for not selecting other players. From Colorado, you see Calvin Pickard being selected, a solid choice. From Columbus, William Karlsson, as you know, and as a gift for not taking other players. They also receive Columbus's 1st this year, a 2nd in 2019, and they take on the contract of David Clarkson, a fleecing from Vegas. You end up with William Karlsson, a 1st and a 2nd. Yes, you have to deal with David Clarkson's contract, but still an absolute fleecing, as opposed to taking, like you wouldn't have taken Jack Johnson, maybe Josh Anderson. Regardless, great bit of business by one Mr. George McPhee. From the Dallas Stars, Cody Eakin. I mentioned him and selected him in my mock draft. And to be honest, I had no idea that he had such a terrible season. You could argue he's not even a 3rd-line center. I knew he was bad, but I didn't know he was that bad. For Vegas' sake, let's hope he turns it around. I'm not sure who else you would have picked. Dan Hamhuis seemed to be the other main option. From Detroit, one of the more shocking picks, Thomas Nosek. Not Xavier Wallet, not Peter Mrazek, Nosek. Alrighty then. From Edmonton, Griffin Reinhart, who I mentioned in the mock draft video, might not be a bad shout, and indeed he is selected. We'll see if he can turn his career around. From the Florida Panthers, what the hell? Jonathan Marchessault was selected, and then Florida trades Riley Smith in exchange for a 4th rounder next year. What the hell? There was this big debate, me and the Flopfish on Twitter, or, two of the main, I guess, people debating this. Who was the right guy to take, Marchessault or Riley Smith? And in the end, the Golden Knights, end up with both of them. Ridiculous. What the hell were the Panthers thinking? From the LA Kings, Braden McNabb. Good player, but yeah, exciting, I guess. From Minnesota, Eric Holla. They also make a trade after to get Alex Tucker for a third-round pick. So they get Eric Holla and Alex Tuck for a third-rounder, basically. Good bit of business. From Montreal, not Charlie Houdon, not even De La Rose. Emlyn, Alexei Yemelin. Another head-scratcher, to say the least. No deal involved there, just straight up, that's who they picked. Interesting. From Nashville, James Neal left unprotected, no deal was made, so that was the absolute right choice. From New Jersey, John Merrill. All right, not Bo Bennett, not Devontae Smith-Pelly, John Merrill. Okay. From the New York Islanders, J.F. Berube. And following a trade, Jake Bischoff, the 15th overall pick, a second-rounder in 2019, and the contract of Mikhail Grabovski. I say that because he might not never play again. What the hell were the Islanders thinking? Were they that desperate to get rid of the contract of Mikhail Grabovski? What a steal for Vegas. That return. Oh my God. Think about that. Essentially, for nothing, you get J.F. Berube, Jake Bischoff, who just signed out of the NCAA, the 15th overall pick, a second rounder, and Mikhail Grabovski. 5 assets. As I just hit my hand on the desk. 5 assets for nothing. Ridiculous. For the New York Rangers, Oscar Lindbergh was selected, not an off-the-board pick. You know, a lot of people are saying maybe Michael Grabner, but still, I guess somewhat surprising. Antti Ranta stays a Ranger for now. From the Ottawa Senators, Mark Mathot, no surprise. Clearly the Bobby Ryan deal is just too poor despite his strong postseason. From the Philadelphia Flyers, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Alrighty then. Exciting, I guess. Don't quite understand that pick. We'll see what happens again. From Pittsburgh, we all know it was coming. Marc-Andre Fleury. The Penguins also send them a second-round pick in 2020 to ensure that that is indeed who Vegas took. We all knew, Alex took. We all knew it was coming, and it was a really nice moment to see Fleury out on stage. He got a nice warm welcome, which you would hope so, because, yeah, their fate lies on his shoulders. Their fate and their faith. From the San Jose Sharks, David Schlemko. And in fairness, I didn't give him as much credit as he deserved in my mock draft. Solid player. And I remember him absolutely burning the Bruins in a shootout not too long ago. From the St. Louis Blues, David Perron. Not too surprising. Came down to him, Yuri Lehtera or Nail Yakupov. They went with Perron. He'll probably be traded. From Tampa, Jason Garrison. They also pick up prospect Nikita Gusev. A second-round pick this year and a fourth-rounder next year. It's another move where, again, I mean, yeah, the picks are nice. The prospect might pan out. But maybe you would have rather just pissed off Yzerman and selected Slater Cuckoo or Jake Dotchin. Maybe. I don't know. From Toronto, Brendan Leipsic. No surprise. From Vancouver, Lucas Spiza. Really no surprise. From Washington, Nate Schmidt. Very surprising that the Caps didn't get a deal done to protect him. Losing him for nothing. That is rough, to say the least. And last but not least, from the Winnipeg Jets, Chris Thorburn. All right. They also swapped the Blue Jackets' first-round pick that they acquired, the 24th overall pick, for Winnipeg's first, the 13th. So they move up 11 spots, and they also acquire a third-round pick in 2019. So, overall, I mean, not bad. If the sacrifice is, oh, you got to take Chris Thorburn, but you move up 11 spots in the draft and don't take someone like Marco Dano or Toby Enstrom, it's not really that bad of a deal, I suppose. So, overall, 30 players selected, 10 trades in total. They have 3 first-round picks, the 6th, 13th, and 15th, and the fun has just started. Like I said, I can't wait to see what this team looks like by the draft, after the draft, and especially by this September. It's extremely fun, and has been extremely fun to watch so far, and it's only going to get better. So guys, let me know, what did you think of the expansion draft in the comments below? The moves that were made, the moves that weren't, on the trades that were made. What do you think they'll do before the draft, throughout the weekend, after this weekend? Will they sign someone like Evgeny Dadonov, or Dadonov, from the KHL? I mean, there's so many possibilities for this team, and it's incredible. Hockey. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out the other videos I've made surrounding yesterday's news, and I'll catch you later.